What we're going to do today is we're going to recreate an intro piece of music to a song called Everywhere I Go, or I think it's called Remind Me, actually by Röyksopp, which is a Norwegian band that's currently got a song being used on a Geico commercial that I've seen on TV with the caveman in the airport, and it's the music playing in the background. I researched it, and I downloaded a lot more of their music. They're a really good group, actually. They have some vocoding going on in that song, and especially in the beginning, and I figured we could kind of recreate sort of something similar to that here, or pretty close to spot on, and that way also get a lesson on how is one way to use the vocoder. There's many ways to use all the things in Reason, and everyone seems to have their own way, and each way has its own pluses and probably its own negatives as well. But this is the way that I would use it, and you can hopefully grab some pointers off that. So the first thing we have here is a keyboard line that I've pre-written. It's actually the chords from the song, and I've just got it here with a subtractor playing it. I'm going to go ahead and play that for you so you can see what it sounds like before we process it. It's quite boring, and it's kind of all jumbled together, but I just want you to hear what it sounds like. So here we go. Right, that's enough of that. Okay, so let's go ahead and start setting up our vocoder. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click in this area, and I'm going to hold down Shift, which is something that I learned in another tutorial I watched, and create a vocoder. And by holding down Shift before I select vocoder, it will not connect it to the other instruments. It's crazy. I've been using Reason for years, and I learn something new all the time. I'm going to go ahead and flip the rack around now so we can kind of see what we're doing. And then right below the vocoder, I'm going to hold down Shift again and create a merger splitter right here. And then below that, I'm going to hold down Shift and create a Rex player because we're not going to be doing any vocals particularly with the vocoder this time, but more of a rhythm kind of beat vocoding. Okay, so now that we've done that, the vocoder needs two signals. It needs a signal, it needs a carrier signal input and a modulator input. The carrier signal is typically always some kind of an instrument or a synthesizer, which is what gives it the kind of vocoding sound. So we're going to take our synthesizer and we're going to put it into the merger splitter, and then we're going to split that mono channel, and we're going to split it, and so we can fill up both of the carrier inputs here. Notice it kind of reminds you here, there's a little keyboard icon to remind you kind of which one is the carrier, which one is the modulator. So just think synthesizer, piano, whatever, keyboard goes into the carrier input. And then next we're going to take the Rex player down here, and we're going to feed that into the modulator input, which is the other signal. Because basically what the vocoder is it's kind of a blender. It's like an electronic music blender. It's just going to blend these two sounds together. I wish it was as easy as just doing that, but there's a couple more things that we have to do. So now that we've got that set up, I'm going to go ahead and take the output of the vocoder and bring this up to channel 1. We're just going to use channel 1 up there, and now we have a stereo output coming out of the vocoder. So let's go ahead and flip the rack around. I'm going to kind of preset up the vocoder here by turning the bands over here all the way down to 4 to get this kind of sound, and I'm going to turn the EQ up on them all the way up here. All these bands, these 4 bands here, all the way up, just for this particular demonstration. I'm going to take the dry wet knob over here, and I'm going to turn that all the way down so there's no vocoding going on right at the beginning, and then I'm going to find a drum beat here to go ahead and load up. So let's go ahead and see if we can find that here. Skint. I like skint because I think it sounds a lot like the it sounds a lot like what they used in the song Remind Me. So we'll go ahead and do that. So now that we've got this beat feeding into the vocoder, we'll go ahead and just we'll just go ahead and add that to the track. You can see it's already added it down here, and we'll just add that right there. And now you can see that it's added that there, and we'll go ahead and reset that and just play that beat all the way through so we can hear it. And you can see that the vocoder is taking the signal already, and it's kind of bass heavy a little bit. And one thing I like to point out is that the vocoder has an EQ on it, so if something's kind of a bass heavy, you want to keep an eye on the modulator input right here, and these signals. This is your modulator and your carrier signal. If these things are up in the red up here, either one of these, you're going to get kind of a distorted vocoder. So you want to kind of keep those down to a minimum, and we'll show you a little balance in that a little bit later. So right now I'm going to right click on the Rex player without holding shift down, and I'm going to create a 2-band EQ because I want to take out some of the bass in that just a little bit, and I'm going to keep playing that until I get it right, because I've found that if you feed whether it's vocals or drum beats or any kind of samples into the vocoder, if you kind of keep it less bass heavy and do other EQing later if you want to give it more bass and not on the actual signal that's going into it, you'll get a better quality sound. So I'm going to move the frequency down here and kind of drop that bassy kind of tone as I'm playing it here. And then I'm going to go to the other band here and kind of bring up maybe a little bit of the mid-range right there. So we've just got that beat playing. So now we've got that signal going in. We take a look at the signal, and we can see that. Now there's also the keyboard line is playing in here right now. I'm going to go ahead. If you notice there, you can see the keyboard line levels right here also playing, but you can't hear it yet because we've got the effects turned down on the dry. So I'm going to slowly bring that keyboard line in, and what I'm doing is I'm bringing the subtractor that we plugged into it right here into this vocoder and the drum beat, and it's going to combine them together to create kind of a melodic version of this sample right here that we've been playing with. So I'm going to bring up the dry and the wet now that we've set all that up, and we're going to see how that sounds.